shit, it's here. My Sooners playing Texas tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to win, but I'll tell you what, I'm fucking excited to find out, because if we win, I'm not going to lie, starting to feel like a little year 2000 for all of you that have been around for a while, and my Sooners need another magical year, and I'm ready for it. I'm also going to be playing a little college football DFS, and I'll be damned if I'm going to play anybody from Texas, those fucking losers. What's up, new guy? I'm the Degenerate 75. I am a DFS content creator who is here to help you get a little bit better at DFS. Tonight, we're going to be focusing on college football, because if you don't know, this shit be tough, and there's a lot of people that will give you their picks and their plays and all that nonsense. I'm going to try to help you with a little thing called the process. If you find you like the cut of my jib, come check out that schedule right there. You're, of course, watching First and 10 with Degen. I do this every Friday night. I encourage you to be here. I also do NFL. As you can see, I do Monday night and Thursday night football. I also do a live stream Saturday night with all my final thoughts. And, of course, the big guy does golf. Nobody goes harder at PGA golf than this guy. So, let's get going. Let's shut the F up, and let's start with contest selection, which is the first place you're blowing money. First of all, I'm just going to always say this, and because I get new viewers every week, and you need to hear this. Dedicate a certain amount of your portfolio, that's how much action you're playing, to cash, right? And when I say cash, new guy, that's things like 50-50s, double-ups, and I really encourage you to get into head-to-heads. There are some real big fucking fish out there that just post action every week, and they'll make the stupidest lineups you've ever seen in your life. And you can just play those guys, right? And I'm not saying you'll beat them every time, but if you can beat somebody 70% of the time, that's a print factory, right? There's never a time in DFS where you expect to win 70% of the time, except at college football head-to-heads where there are some fucking morons. Now, from there, I get it. Playing GPPs is fun. GPPs are the big tournaments up here. And if you didn't see, tomorrow there is a big one, right? The mid-season. Ooh, 100,000 to first. Ooh, this sounds fun. But look at that, man. A third of the prize pool. 1/3 of the entire prize pool goes to first. Generally speaking, my rule is anything over 20%, I'm out like a fat kid in dodgeball, right? You know, this is a one where, first of all, $444 ain't cheap for a lineup. So that already has most of you priced out. But forget how much it costs. Just any contest that's structured like this are contests you want to stay the hell away from. They are not good, right? You know, if you get second place, you're almost going to feel like you lost, because like you're only getting 30% of first. 11th place is a mere 167th of first. So gross. So, I'm glad they're putting up a big tournament, and I'm glad that the college football year is midway through, and I'm glad my Sooners are undefeated, but I'm not playing in it. I'm not. Matter of fact, the main contest, notice, only 20% of the prize pool goes to first, but notice second isn't quite half of first, so I don't love it, but it sure as shit a lot better than that 444 one. As always, the key is try to get in smaller contests. Try playing in contests that have less than 2,000 entrants in them, right? Enter contests that you can max enter, and enter contests that have flat payout structures, and dedicate a good portion of your weekly bankroll towards cash, being 50-50s, double-ups, and head-to-heads, okay? You do those three things. College football DFS is one of the few sports where you can expect to win year over year if you have good, reliable projections and a good process, and a fucking guy like me that's a sweaty tryhard that will tell you everything you need to know. But of course, if you're going to play in a GPP, the one contest you should get in is mine. Look at it right there, the Showdown Hoedown Listener League. Go get in it right now. Once again, forgot to post the fucking winners again. I'm going to blame the editor. He's the one that has to remind me about these tabs. It was in the newsletter, so all of my winners from the contest last week, big shout out to you. Wait, I'm pretty sure I finished 3rd, 4th, and 5th last week too. Damn it. I want that to be up. What are you gonna do? We're not gonna do it now. So anyways, go hop in that. It's in the description of this video. $5 3 max, flat payout structure, reduce rake. Go fill it up. Congratulations to my winner. I'm sorry I'm a piece of shit and forgot to shout you out. Once again, it's easier for me to just blame the editor. All right, as I was telling you earlier, if you're playing college football DFS and you don't have reliable projections and reliable ownership, God bless your soul. God bless your soul. I don't know how you do it, okay? You see that right there, Degenerate 75. Every slate of college football, I put out projections and I put out ownership because I'm a sweaty tryhard. And I know that this is the basis of being good at college football DFS. As you can see, Degenerate 75, it's right here. What the hell is this thing called? This is called the Solver. The Solver is a lineup optimizer, right? You can have a great player pool. You can know who the good plays are, but do you know how to put them in a lineup that makes sense? That is what an optimizer does. It makes the best versions of your player pool, and you can look at projections, and you can look at things like points per dollar, ownership, cumulative ownership, stacking, game stacks, all those things. The optimizer will make the best version of those lineups. And I know you're thinking you're a casual player, you can't afford it. You can get a single sport for $24.99 a month, or you can get all sports for $39.99 a month. And I do NFL Showdown, PGA Showdown, college football. I do projections for all of those sports. And if you sign up using my little landing page right there, it will get you access to all of those. All right, let's check out the Rosetta Stone. Yes, this is what I offer over at my site, Degen75.com. This is the one for the pores on YouTube, okay? You get the watered down one. You don't get to see projections and ownership and optimals, okay? If you want to see that, that's what my actual Rosetta Stone looks like from last week, right? That's the one. That's over on the set right there, boy. Well, I'll sell you on the site in a little bit. But let's run through this slate. It's a 12-game main slate. I'm not going to sit here and give you all these plays. I'm just going to give you some things to consider, a little bit of strategy, and hopefully you can make your own decisions like a big kid. How does that sound, buddy? All right, here we go. OU versus Texas. You know what? You probably don't have to be a mother father genius to figure out who I am cheering for in this game. I will lose all my college football bets this week if my Sooners can beat Texas. I'll be out there. I'll get arrested because my fat ass will be out in the streets dancing naked if OU wins this game. Fuck Texas. Okay, and hey, Texas fans, you can still like and subscribe, but fuck Texas. Okay, so. Here we go. Dylan Gabriel at 8,900 is a very good play. OU has a 27-point team total, but you got to remember with a guy like Dylan Gabriel is that there is always the big freshman stud, Jackson Arnold, who could come in and pilfer him. And honestly, $9,000. When you start paying $9,000 for a quarterback, I know he's 8,900, but we're rounded to 9,000. You really, really start to be limited with what you can do with the rest of your lineup, okay? So just be aware of that. And there's other guys right around the same price who probably have the same passing upside and more rushing upside and are favored, right? Texas, I'm pretty sure they have a good defense this year. Running back situation for OU. No one knows more about OU football than me, and I don't even know what the hell's going to happen. I would guess Marcus Major's going to lead it, but it wouldn't surprise me if they've been saving Javonte Walker. He comes out there and take it. Salchuk's been out there. Tawee might get some goal line carries. I don't fucking know. I know this. I ain't playing any of them. That's what I do know. The wide receiver situation, OU wide receivers have been much better this year than anticipated, but the problem is they spread the ball very equally. Andrew Anthony probably is the one most likely to get targets, but Jalil Farouk is right there. Drake Stoops is right there. Nick Anderson seems to be the big up-and-comer, but don't forget about Brennan Thompson, the Texas transfer. Maybe they have a little plan to throw some deep balls to him because that guy be real fast, okay? Now, am I going to play him in GPPs? No, that's getting too cute, but I'm just telling you, I had to have him on here. For Texas, I wrote down a little note about Quinn Ewers. Let me look it up real quick. It says right here, Quinn Ewers fucking sucks at fantasy football. Look, he may be a good college quarterback, but the day I pay $8,500 to put Quinn Ewers in my lineup, may I be kicked in the nutsack by a very strong horse, okay? Because it's not going to happen. Not in this lifetime, pal. Quinn Ewers seems to be a much better quarterback this year than he was last year, but he's still at $8,500, laughably overpriced for a college football back. Maybe he does good. You can come spike the football on me, but he is not a good fantasy quarterback. Deal with it. Just like Baker Mayfield, not a good NFL fantasy quarterback. Love the guy, not a good fantasy quarterback, okay? Running back situation, it appears as though Jonathan Brooks has really taken over that running back situation. I loved him last week. Basically single-handedly made my cash lineup cash across the board. He is running efficiently. That offensive line is opening up holes, and he is getting the lion's share of the work. OU's run defense has been solid this year, but they also probably haven't seen an O-line near as good as Texas. So Jonathan Brooks is very interesting here because this might be the first time that we get to see him play 4 full quarters and probably get somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 touches, and that could be pretty electric with how good he is. At wide receiver, the good thing about Texas is they have very concentrated wide receiver targets, right? They basically only throw the ball to 4 guys, and saying they throw it to Whittington might be a little bit of a, being nice, right? Worthy is definitely the number 1 guy, but Mitchell has really been arising as a more legit fantasy option. He gets more reasonable targets that get caught more often. And Jatavion Sanders, let's face it, he's everybody's favorite cash darling because he's probably the second best tight end in the country. But don't forget, he did leave the game last week with a high ankle sprain. I know Sark said that he is likely to play, but you got to be aware that maybe that limits him a little bit. Maybe he doesn't play the full allotment of snaps, or maybe he's just not as explosive as he has been. And we no longer have the free square. It's not like he's $3,700 anymore, right? Now he's all the way up to $4,900. But overall, this is a good game to get into. I have a feeling these teams will be moving the ball, and I have a feeling this game will go 4 quarters. And often when you play OU and Texas players, you don't get those guys for 4 quarters. Moving on to maybe the sexiest game on the schedule, LSU and Missouri. You can just see the total right there. Missouri has a 30-point total. LSU has a 36-point total. Very big total, very competitive. LSU is a much, much better team at home than they are on the road. Jaden Daniels is about as good of a play as you can be. Anytime Jaden Daniels is in a shootout, I'm in. His price tag could be $11,000. I'd still fucking find a way to play him. From there, it does appear as though Logan Diggs might have actually taken over that running back situation there for LSU, so he's actually a viable play in this game because all year I've just been avoiding LSU running backs, but I think that maybe legitimate. And then just the grossest mispriced of the slate. Neighbors at 6,500, Brian Thomas at 6,100. I mean, as you can see right here, they're both always on the field. They both are just target monsters, and they're priced in the low 6,000s, low and mid 6,000s. Get the fuck out of here, DraftKings. So those guys, I don't, you could maybe fade them in GPPs, but man, do it at your own risk, because those guys have very, very safe floors and monster ceilings. On the flip side of that, Brady Cook is a guy that's like sneaky good at fantasy, right? Like he'll get like a 28-point game. You're like, how the hell did he get 28 points? He just does, right? And he has some real weapons. Luther Burden, the sophomore 5-star, is legit turning into a stud. You can see almost 11 targets a game. Theo Weiss, the Oklahoma transfer, is out on the field damn near the entire game. He is definitely their number 2. And Cody Schrader isn't even that bad of a halfback. This is a game that you'll almost certainly want to have some access to. The key is, can you find the right parts? Moving on to Maryland in Ohio State. Look, Maryland, this just isn't a great spot for them, right? I know that they have a 19-point total, which isn't just completely terrible, but they spread the ball around. They're not a wildly high-scoring team, and they don't get a ton of yards. And honestly, they're all overpriced. No way I'm playing Baby 2 at 8,400. So here's the best advice I give you on Maryland. Just don't play any of their fucking guys. You're welcome. Ohio State, I think McCord, if they can get pushed at all, McCord is due for a big breakout game. He will legit be like 1% owned. So if you want to get weird in a GPP, maybe consider him. But I think the real question here is the running back situation finally Travion Henderson's? Does he have it all to himself? It appears as though Mayan Williams is like, he's gone, right? He is extinct, much like the Mayans were when the Spanish showed up. I don't know. So I see Travion is definitely leading this backfield now, right? Marvin Harrison Jr., Abuka, the big 2 receivers. I mean, they're just so expensive. When you pay those kind of price tags, why would you not just go play the LSU guys who have a safer floor and are going to be in a more competitive game, right? More interesting to me is Cade Stover, the tight end, but, I'm just not – if I'm playing a tight end, it needs to be Brock Bowers or Jadavion Sanders. That's generally my rule, right? But if you need that price relief, maybe somebody you can consider. Rutgers, Wisconsin, just reeks of a game that I want to stay away from. You know who I want to play from Rutgers? Hold on, I wrote this down. A couple names here. Fucking nobody. That's who. Right, I wrote it down right here, okay? So, no, I wouldn't play any of them. Wisconsin, same thing. Their wide receivers, a mess. Tanner Mordecai, overpriced. But here's what I can tell you. Old Ches Malusi, the guy who was basically a 50-50 split with Braylon Allen, is out for the season. So this backfield, we assume, is all Braylon Allen's now, right? And they have priced him up accordingly. If Braylon Allen is going to get 25 touches a game, he is probably worth $8,400. But do we ever trust that Braylon Allen's going to get 25 touches a game? Probably not, right? So, do you want to pay that price tag? I will tell you, this is a great slate for running back, so maybe don't just instantly pay up there. There might be some better spots to pay up, but I will tell you, if Braylon Allen has a backfield all to himself at home against Rutgers, that just reeks of 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, doesn't it? Washington State, UCLA, a big competitive total. You can see nearly a 60-point total, only a 3.5-point line. My boy Cameron Ward has done me good this year at cash. I have no complaints with him. The stud wide receiver Victor is out. That's why we have the conditional status dependent up there. But with Victor being out, I think that really opens a lot of value up at receiver for Josh Kelly and Kyle Williams. They have not been priced up appropriately for how much usage now will be given to them with Victor out, right? If you want to stack them with Ward, I don't hate that at all, especially in a GPP lineup. I would never do it in my cash lineup, but I think that has some high upside. They do have a 28-point total, and they will have to be playing the full 4 quarters and will likely be getting very aggressive as they will be pushed in this game. Dante Moore at $6,000. Look, the big 5-star freshman has yet to put up that big game, but if there's ever a time he could do it, it would be this one. They have a 31-point total. He has weapons around him. Logan Loy at wide receiver has really started to emerge as their number 1. They still have Sturdivant, and of course they have Carson Steele, the Ball State transfer. So all of these guys are pretty viable, and with that nice competitive total, it feels like you're going to want to get somebody from this game. Trying to find that right person, I don't know who it's going to be. Wake and Clemson, this one just smells like blowout, right? Surely Clemson's going to get their shit together and just start beating the brakes off some people. Wake Forest actually does have a functional offense. Banks and Morin are pretty solid wide receivers who get a lot of targets. Griffiths is a guy who can throw a forward pass. But outside of that, I don't love it, right? They only have a 15.5-point total, and generally speaking, when a team is under 20 points at college football, you don't want much to do with that offense, Bob. Clemson, on the other hand, there's a lot to like, okay? Cade Klubnik at $8,000 is very affordable, and he offers that rushing upside along with a 36-point total. This could be a 5-touchdown game for him. Running back, I mean, everybody's going to want to play Will Shipley, but I'm telling you, Phil Moffitt, there is a chance that our boy Will Shipley doesn't play at all in the fourth quarter. And it's just all Phil Moffitt mop-up time if Clemson's blowing them out. So Shipley is, very fairly priced at $6,400. He is in a great script. I just got to ask you this. What are the chances that he plays 4 quarters and really offers you that 40-point upside that you always want from your running back in college football? In wide receiver, we're still assuming that Antonio Williams is probably out. I told you if Antonio Williams was out last week, go play Tyler Brown. I think he went for like almost a 30-burger. Same thing this week. If Antonio Williams is out, I think most of that usage goes to Bo Collins, but more specifically, it goes to Tyler Brown at $5,300. I still think he's priced to play. Virginia Tech, FSU, once again, the sin of blowout is strong on this part of the stone. I just don't think Virginia Tech can run with Florida State. Florida State is legit a top 4 team in the country. They are getting it done on offense and defense. Tootin has taken over the backfield there. They do have some guys, Lane and Felton, who are getting some targets for Virginia Tech. But at the same time, FSU is just going to boat race them. And it's not going to matter. The question is, can I play Florida State guys? And Jordan Travis at $8,700 isn't exactly cheap, right? Especially if we're going to get robbed of his fourth quarter. I will agree that there's a good chance he'll have 35 points midway through the third quarter, and then his ass gets pulled. So you have to ask yourself, is there enough upside there? You're going to run into the same problem with Benson, who would be a great play otherwise if there wasn't a blowout consideration. Johnny Wilson, Keon Coleman are all really good plays if somehow Virginia Tech can push Florida State into the fourth quarter and keep that offense firing. I have to say this would probably be one of the 3 holy games that I'm really trying to get access to. Syracuse and North Carolina just reeks of shootout, okay? Syracuse has a scrappy-ass quarterback named Garrett Schrader. He is pretty good. He offers you a good running floor, and he can kind of throw the forward pass. He looks weird when he throws, but he can throw a forward pass. They have a workhorse running back, LaQuint Allen, who catches the ball and runs the ball, and in a competitive environment at only $5,800 seems like damn near a free square. And they basically only throw the ball to 3 guys, Brown, Alford, and Hatcher. So this is a game that if you're trying to stack in GPPs, this is a good game to stack because a lot of the usage is concentrated, especially on the Syracuse side. For North Carolina, you have Drake May. Drake May is awesome. He's probably going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL. But at $9,500, he's not that easy to get in there, right? He's not the easiest guy in the world to get in your lineup. But in a shootout environment, I'm totally open to him in GPPs, right? Omarion Hampton has seemed to take over that backfield and is getting upwards of 20 touches a game. He is pretty electric. This could be a shootout. He could be the guy that breaks the slate. He could be a way that you could get off Drake May and just play him. But I think this whole game comes down to one guy. If you did not hear, Devontae, I'm just going to call him Tez. He's my boy. I don't know what you want me to say. Tez Walker is back. He has been reinstated, and he can play this week. He was the big transfer who was denied eligibility by the NCAA, and North Carolina said, we going to sue yo ass, and they won, right? And so he's back, and he's $3,000, which is a laughable price because this guy is like a legit NFL talent playing for a team that has a 35-point total, right? So with that, I think playing Tez Walker has to be on your radar. There is a chance that they ease him back in. Maybe they don't run him out there. But from everything we gather, he has been playing. He is definitely their number 1 wide receiver. And at $3,000, you probably are going to want to give him strong consideration. But at the same time, don't get it twisted. It won't just be me and you knowing about this. A lot of people are going to be hip to this Tez Walker news. Alabama A&M, actually a relatively low total, right? Only a 47-point total in this game, but a very competitive total. Bama has always struggled down at College Station. Jalen Milroe, though, I will tell you this. Ever since they just started letting that guy play ball and let the offense be about him instead of him being about the offense, they've been a lot better. And I think Jalen Milroe always has the ability to rush for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns and throw for 200 yards and pass for another touchdown. He has that kind of big upside, right? So I don't mind him at GPPs. I can't get there at cash with only a 24-point total, but man, I do not mind him in some GPPs. The running back situation, Jace McClellan is definitely taking that backfield back over. Roydell Williams seemed to have it for a week, but McClellan's got it back. But with Jalen Milroe stealing so much of the rushing action, it's hard to play either one of them, if I'm being honest, Bob. And then the wide receivers for Bama, I mean, good fucking luck. If you want to play roulette, go to Vegas, okay? Texas A&M, Connor Wegman is still out for the season. He wasn't out for the season and came back. That would have been weird. Max Johnson is in there, and he actually looked okay. He looked okay, all right? I owe that guy an apology. He is not the worst quarterback in the country. He is only the second worst. Quinn Ewers has got him by a hair. Running back situation. It does appear as though for the first time all year, A&M may have a lead back. Le'Veon Moss has seemed to be trending towards taking over this role, and I think he is actually the lead back. So if you want to play a running back against Alabama, well, you can do that, and I think Moss would be the guy, but I think there's better running back situations. Anaya Smith has been trending towards getting as much, if not more, usage than Evan Stewart also, so he is a nice alternative to Evan Stewart if you don't want to pay that $7,300 and you want somebody to stack with Max Johnson. Purdue and Iowa, let me save you a lot of time here. Just don't fucking play this game. I'm telling you, just have some games that you go, whoosh, whoosh, just put a big X through it. Don't play it. Thank me later, okay? If you want to come in here and you want to grab a single piece, Burks because he gets a lot of targets, I get it. Eric All because they have nobody else. LaShawn Williams because he's probably going to be leading the backfield, I guess. But if you're stacking this game, you're a donkey. If you're trying to play correlation from this game, you're a donkey. All right. Probably my favorite game. Probably my favorite game on the slate. Assuming Plumlee plays, right? This UCF Kansas game could be a wild shootout and it could be a nothing burger because we have a lot of drama at the quarterback situation. We don't know if Plumlee's playing, and if he doesn't, Timmy McClain will take over, who looked pretty solid last week, but we would rather Plumlee play because Plumlee is definitely more explosive and could make this a shootout game. Jalen Daniels conspicuously out again. I'm starting to hear some pretty good rumors that I'm starting to believe about him trying to get a red shirt. So Jason Bean will be starting again. I know Jason Bean didn't look great last week, but at Texas isn't exactly the easiest game environment to be thrown into. They're back at home this week. They're playing UCF, who has not been great at defense this year. This is a game that you are going to want to be in at, right? If Plumlee plays especially, this just feels like a 38-35 type game. You got guys on both sides of the ball who can explode. Harvey at the running back, Neal at running back, Hudson, Baker, and then whatever random-ass Kansas receiver. They got 4 guys, but it's never the same ones that go off. If you made me pick, I would say Arnold, but even he is not that consistent. But I'm telling you, if Plumlee plays, and it's Plumlee versus Bean, this is probably a game you're going to want to have access to. You have a very high total, and you have a very competitive total, and games seem to shoot out in fucking Lawrence, Kansas. And the last game on the slate, Vanderbilt in Florida. Well, first of all, just reeks of blowout, right? Florida has not been great this year, but down in the swamp, is Vanderbilt really going to come in there? We do got to watch A.J. Swan, the starting quarterback for Vanderbilt. He may be out, so Ken Sills would likely take over. But, outside of Will Shepard, who are you really considering from Vanderbilt? Over on the other side, Florida still got Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz at 6,400, I guess, is kind of playable, but you got to ask yourself, is he going to get 4 quarters of action? And here's what's really interesting. There are rumors bouncing around that Trevor Etienne, that's Travis's little brother, could be out this week. If he is out, this will definitely be Montrell Johnson's backfield. And if that's the case, he becomes one of the best plays on the slate at just a mere $5,800 with a team with a 35-point total playing at home who can likely run the ball down Vanderbilt's throat. At wide receiver, to me, the only guy I would consider is Ricky Pearsall because he is definitely the leading target for the Gators. But at 7,400, he's just not priced. He's not priced to play, right? I could name 7 guys I'd rather play above him who are cheaper. So with that, this is a game I'm probably just grabbing a piece from, right? All of these things. If you want to know, well, what's their projections? What's their points per dollars? What's their optimal? Well, that is right here on the Rosetta Stone. Yeah, I put everything on there, right? Everything you saw or you see on here, I do it for all the slates. You're like, well, how the hell do I get that? Well, you just come right on over to Degen75.com, the fastest growing community in all of DFS. Especially college football because it's not a big community. So you get like 10 new people a week. You're boat racing everybody. In my community, it's not about, don't come join it because you always see me winning. Join it because you see all these motherfathers winning. We celebrate the community, not me. You won't see me flexing on Twitter. I am all about helping you build your process, understand the game, and you get better at it so you can have fun, be sustainable, and then eventually hit a big one at DFS, which is what it is all about. And I have the best tool out there. No stupid picks, no stupid plays, none of that bullshit, but a thing called the Rosetta Stone to help you with your process, right? And because September was the biggest month I've ever had at my site, I am doing a 1-month giveaway where if you sign up using promo code NEWGUY, you can get 10% off your first month, right? And if you want to try it out before you do that, just go sign up for the newsletter. You see right here. You see that right there? Support Degen75 on Twitter. Reach out to them. Show them you signed up for the newsletter. They'll give you a free week on the site. And then once you try it for the free week, you're like, well, fuck, that was awesome. And then you're just going to come sign up. Then you can go use the new guy code, all right? So I hope to see you guys again soon. I hope that you do well at NCAA football, also known as college football. And I hope to see you Saturday night at 7 o'clock in the Lord's time zone for my NFL show. But for right now, guys, I got to run. So I hope you just enjoy this outro.